They said, I know leave is 12 months, ne? Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Alright. Hi guys.
Hi everyone.
Welcome back to our channel, The Masekos. I am Michelle.
And I am Anele.
And we have a guest on today's video. She woke up from her nap and we just thought we might as well just film with her because we don't know when she's gonna nap again, and we're kinda trying to adjust to this new schedule.
Yeah.
So say hi to everyone, Ayakha.
Hello everyone. Oh wow. Yeah, there.
Hi. So hopefully she lets us film and finish this video. Yeah. But on today's video, this video is related to her. We are ending our baby series, I guess we can say second baby pregnancy series, with a Q&A, basically addressing the questions that you guys have had and expressed about giving birth in the UK and how pregnancy is in the UK. So yeah, we'll be answering those questions. We're going to get straight into it. But before we do, thank you so much for all the support, the love. We appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for joining our little family.
Yeah. We'll see how this will
We'll
work.
see how this goes, guys. Bear with us. But yeah, I put a question poll on my Instagram, so I'm going to start there. I don't think we got any questions on our YouTube poll. I don't know if anyone really saw or if I phrased it well. But I think everything will be addressed also because I did get some good questions from the poll. So the first question is, what were some of the things that were different from giving birth in SA? I haven't really looked at these questions, so we're just going to wing it as we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm not going to mention any names as well, just in case you want to be anonymous from Instagram. And yeah, but the question was, what were some of the things that were different from giving birth in SA? Okay, so I guess I will have a lot of say in this as I was the pregnant lady in the UK. So things that were different from giving birth in SA is that I think there was just a lot more care, I would say. The midwives are very friendly, very kind, very sweet, very helpful. I think I remember mentioning to Annie the other day that while I was in hospital because of the infection, I don't think we mentioned this in our birth story, that after giving birth, I had to stay in the hospital with baby Ayakha for like a week to take antibiotics and to be monitored for the infection. So they're very thorough. They make sure that you're completely well and they take care of you so well. And while I was with this one in the hospital without any help from daddy and stuff, yes, they would offer to take, the midwives would offer, whoever was on duty that night, the week I was there, would offer to take Ayakha so that I can get some sleep. And that was just really sweet. They were always so kind, and they were just so helpful. So I think that for me was the difference. The nurses in SA were also really nice, but like very professional, like they were nice, but like also super professional. These ones are also very super professional, but they're like really kind, and like they just ask how you are. I remember Anele brought me chicken the one time, and they're like, oh, that chicken looks yummy, where did you get it from? Like, they're very friendly, like they just relate to you. So that's one major difference I noted. Another one is that you don't get a lot of scans as well, especially if you're a low risk pregnancy. You just get like 2 scans throughout your whole pregnancy, and they really support whatever you want to do. Because I had a C-section with a mother, firstborn, and in South Africa. And with Ayakha, we were hoping for a natural birth, like we expressed in our birth story. So they were very supportive of that. They weren't like, oh no, you should get another C-section, which most likely would have been the case in South Africa because they try and be super, super cautious. But here, I think they are I guess, more relaxed. They're just not as, I guess, invasive, if I can say, for lack of a better word. They support whatever you want, really. Also within the confines of health. And they don't impose anything on you. They just advise. Even when we ended up with a C-section with her, they weren't forcing us down the route for C-section, or like, you have to get a C-section. They advised it. You know, they did say we could wait and we could see out the whole natural birth thing. But, you know, we decided no, especially with my cervix being shut closed, that it's not the best option, and we didn't risk it, and it ended up being the best option to go for another C-section. So yeah,
I think what I can add is, with that last one, we also did a lot of signing, you know, which was different. In South Africa, I remember signing one day. Yeah, I think we signed 3 things. When they explained,
I wouldn't remember.
When they explained all these things, you first sign, you explain that you are approving. So they explain, give a document, you're signing, you're approving this. They explain, give a document, you're signing for this, you know. So it happened 3 times, which was different with what happened in SA. In SA, I was told there's a C-section that will be happening. And I needed to drive over to the hospital. Yeah, but with your first point though, I spent a lot of time in hospital in SA, you know.
So that's something that was different.
I found my nurses were really nice, and I never really had a problem. The nurses were always really nice, and they do a lot. I think what's different, what maybe you're trying to explain, is in South Africa, the midwives, in South Africa, the nurses are like supporting the doctor. Whereas here, it's the inverse. The doctor is supporting the midwife. The midwives are doing everything. The scan is the midwife. The appointments, when you come in for a doctor's appointment, it's the midwife. You know, we only got to meet the doctor on the day. Whereas in South Africa, we had a relationship with the doctor, and the nurses would only meet them when
support and stuff. So I guess, that's actually perfectly explained, because we dealt with a doctor in South Africa, really. We are more professional. Nice. She was very nice, but she was like towards the end of our pregnancy. I'm thinking of our first doctor, who was also nice, but like professional. People can think of like how doctors are really. So now with the inverse, you explained it perfectly. We're dealing with midwives constantly all the time. Or I was dealing with midwives all the time. And I think maybe you were going to probably explain your next point, that I also had to go inside with these appointments mostly by myself, because he was manning Amava outside because she just couldn't behave for these appointments. So that was another difference, is that Anil was by my side constantly for everything. Whereas now here, he was outside the room. He was there at the hospital, but I was inside with the midwife by myself.
Sometimes you take a little walk outside because you get a bit restless. But with my point about the midwives do a lot here in this country. Like everything that the doctors did for us in the first pregnancy, because the midwives were doing scans, checkups, all these things. Whenever there's an appointment, we are expecting it's a doctor's appointment, but it's not really a doctor. We never meet a doctor. It's just the midwives. And then they did explain that if there is some complication or something wrong, then the doctor would be involved. But we only met the doctor who performed the operation on the day, you know. And that was a big difference as well, that I also recognized. Maybe that's why you also see the niceness of the midwives. They were hands-on. They were very
hands-on. That's true. But next question, so that we can get to all the questions. Costs. Do you guys have medical aid like SA, or it's just cash?
No, this is nice, guys. I want to explain this because I felt the crunch of medical aid. It was so expensive, medical aid in South Africa, that I took myself off. And then I put her and Amava. I put Michelle and Amava on the medical aid because it was so expensive. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to have a baby without a medical aid. People have stories about government hospitals giving birth in South Africa. I don't know those stories. I won't share them now, you know, because I'm sharing my own story. So we avoided that. and we went to a private hospital in South Africa.
Yep.
It was a really good hospital, but you paid for it.
Yeah.
You paid. It was quite a bit of money.
Yeah, to upgrade that medical aid, because you do need to have medical aid already when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
In South Africa. So I think we had a very basic one, and then we decided to upgrade it because of the hospital we wanted to go to for Amab, and just so that she also gets that medical aid. So yeah. But then coming here to the UK, no, we did not pay a single cent. So that's just one of the wonderful perks of having kids here. You don't pay anything, because when you're busy with your visa process coming into the country, one of the conditions is that you need to pay a health surcharge. So that's part of your visa costs, which was covered by the company. So essentially we didn't pay for it really, and it's a very hefty fee. Mind you. It's a very hefty fee. So you get into the UK,
medical aid.
It's like medical aid in a way if you think about it. But no, we didn't pay anything. There were no costs that we incurred. Like it was just all covered. You just show up, and the hospitals are as beautiful, if not even more beautiful, than the private hospitals in South Africa. Really top class. So I think there's no cash, there's no medical aid. I mean, there is private healthcare. I'm not sure what people really use it for here. And because of, I guess, with maybe the issues now that have come up with the NHS and being understaffed and all of that stuff, maybe people do tend to go into private healthcare. But we didn't need to do that. Especially when you are pregnant mom, they put those first, and they make sure that they are taken care of as one of the vulnerable people in society. So and even with prescription medicine, you don't pay for that as well. They just give you a prescription and tell you where you can collect it. You just go there. I think there was one time when our mother was sick as well, and I went to get her medicine. So I spoke to the doctor first, and the doctor told me you can collect at this particular pharmacy. Then you just go there, you get there, you just give them your name and surname, and then I don't know if they communicate via email. So they just punched in my name and surname. They knew what to give me, what the doctor had prescribed. I didn't even have a note. I just got there and I told them I'm from this doctor, said I should come here to collect medicine. And they had it in their system. It was very nice. It was very efficient as well. You don't pay anything. That's really nice. And the doctor could tell which pharmacy has that medication and which one doesn't. So that's the nice thing. It's quite convenient. Whereas if you just have a prescription, we're gonna have to pause a bit.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Our little guest here decided to perform. So we needed to stop a bit. But what I was saying, I think before we stopped, was with the prescription process here versus the one in South Africa. And I remember one time in South Africa, I needed some medication. And I went to a particular pharmacy. They didn't have. You have to drive to another one, and whereas here the doctor could tell from their system which pharmacy has the medication. Told me exactly where to go, and in fact asked me which one is closer, this one or this one. I told him this one, and then prescribed and told me I can get the medication will be there. When I got there, I just stood. There was a little line, people with their own problems as well. But the moment I got in front, all I gave was the name. It was Amava's name. So I wanted the child's name and surname. Everything was fine. Didn't get that run around. So that was another nice difference with how things are done here as well. I think that covers it. But we didn't take out anything. I think the next question is similar. How much did you have to pay in cash? Did government cover it, or did you guys have medical insurance? So I think we've covered that. And then someone else wanted to know, share with them how the service was. So how was the service versus SA? Let me start. I think with the service, what I hear on the radio, I listen to a lot of radio. I hear a lot of people complaining about and waiting lists and all those things. Fortunately for us, we never encountered that problem until.
I'm trying to think of the until.
Yeah, well, we waited for a bed, remember?
Oh, yes.
But we'll get to that birthday, man. Before that, like when it comes to the appointments and stuff, I think we never really experienced any of those problems. We never waited too long. Yeah, it was always a matter of we get there within 5-10 minutes. Michelle's already been called to go in and we already entering. You know, we never got there and we waited an hour and there was a long line of people. And we never had that experience.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think, in South Africa, did we had waited, we had some waiting experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's common with GPs. You just get there, you wait a little bit. It could be like
for like 30 minutes.
30 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And granted, also here we did wait sometimes also a bit, like 10, 15, 30 minutes was the longest we'd ever have to wait.
Yeah.
So I guess similar there, but the service was really good overall. Like I said, I'm a sucker for kindness and politeness and sweetness. So the midwives were always very kind, very attentive, you know, and very zoned into how you're doing, how you're feeling. They also ask you, is there any abuse at home? Are you being treated well? Like, are you okay mentally? All of that stuff. They're very, very kind. Even when we were worried about Ayakha's movements at some point. Okay, can you hold this? Even when we were worried about Ayakha's movements at some point and we went to go see the midwife, very kind, you know, reassured me that I would know exactly when I'm going to labor, spent some time just chatting to me. So yeah, I think the service was great. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video with Miss Restless over here, that they were so kind to like make sure that I try and get some rest. You know, they were concerned about my well-being as well as her well-being. Yeah, I think we have to pause again. So yeah, guys, sorry. I mean, I guess this was expected for Miss Cuteness in the video over here to disrupt us a little bit. But as I was saying, that service overall was really, really good. And yeah, I think another thing to mention is, I guess, what we also had previously discussed, I guess, there were just different areas. So like pre-birth, during pregnancy, great service overall. And then on the day of delivery, that part, I mean, they're still friendly, but hey, we're a lot of us who are pregnant, so
yeah, we did experience some bad service there, let's be honest.
To be honest, because
we waited a long time. Like we shared it on that video, right? I even went to drop off Amava. I came back, she was still waiting. I went to get food. I had to walk a bit to get her food. Found a near Subway. There was a Subway restaurant. So I got there. I waited for the food. Then I got back. She was still waiting. Then we sat. Then they called her, and then she went into this room where they checked her, and then went back to the waiting area. And there were some women as well who were in pain and also going through contractions, you know. So when we found out why we are here, why we're still waiting here, they said they didn't have any beds, you know. And then they told us an hour later, they were like, they found a bed for us, so they'll fix the bed and then she can go into the bed. And we waited for like another hour.
And then that's when we explained that now my waters had changed colors. And now
it was an emergency situation, you know. So it was just disappointing that it took that, because an hour before they told us, no, the bed is available, they're just cleaning up. We waited for over an hour even. It wasn't just an hour, for over an hour, you know. And so I think that was bad service. And then when it comes to post-birth now. In fact, no, we're going too far. During birth, the midwife, once again, was really nice when we were waiting, when the contractions were happening.
Really supportive.
The doctor was really nice as well, trying to explain everything. which was very difficult because Michelle was screaming here
in pain, but she made sure to explain everything.
Yeah, because I mean, she
would wait for me. She'd be like, "Are you going through a contraction now?" Okay, and I'd go through it, and then she was like, "Okay, right. So with this, it was just like."
And she's busy with with that gas and pain. And the doctor speaking there and speaking calmly, and I'm there as well trying to remain calm and seeing that these people, okay, it's fine, and
so it's going in one ear, going into the other.
Even I don't remember a lot of things.
I don't remember a thing she spoke about.
But then after she speaks, on comes a paper asking Michelle to sign or me to sign. So that was quite different. That was quite different. It's like she was doing it according to the textbook, you know. Whereas I think when we were in South Africa, the doctor was calm, but it's like she knew what she needed to do, and she was leaning on us to trust her, you know. Whereas here it's like they're explaining everything, you know, so that everything would be explained. There wasn't so much explaining in South Africa. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know. You be the judge of that. What you would prefer. I think some would prefer, like, you're the expert. It's fine. Others really want to be told in detail what's going on. So, I mean, their preferences, it's like, you know, read the room type of thing. But I guess it's good when it goes well. And then it's horrible if it didn't go well. If something went wrong. That's where you hear stories of people. They didn't explain. I asked questions. And I think there have been a lot of stories where women have expressed that they didn't know what was going on. They asked questions, etc. So I guess from that perspective, what happened in our case the second time around was really good, because thinking about it, I did have questions the first time around where I was like, was everything exhausted? Did we try everything? So I think I prefer the second time around. And also first time around, you just you know less and you have more questions, whereas this time around, I guess maybe I didn't have as many questions, but I did appreciate the fact that they went into that much detail to reassure me and to make me aware of the situation and what's going on with my body, etc. And even the test that they did afterwards, oh my goodness. Like, I'd get tested every day, make sure I'm okay. I was given a separate room because of the infection, but it was a really nice room as well, with my own facilities, and like just asked, are you okay? Someone would come and explain the infection to me, like a whole experts in the field would come and explain the infection. I'd get paperwork on the infection. They would make sure that she was fine, and if she wasn't fine or if I wasn't fine, we were going to stay in that hospital. Like, they were just so meticulous and detailed, and I appreciate that. And I mean, I didn't have an infection in South Africa, so I can't compare. I can't say SA would have been better or worse. But even also coming to the blood test that we did during pregnancy, they were a lot more detailed compared to the first time around. We're not going to share for privacy reasons, of course. It's our health, but like, you get a full blood profile and you get further on blood tests, and he also gets tested to just make sure everything is okay, which was like, wow, you know, and really appreciated. You get letters sent, like, they are incredibly detailed.
And also when they take your blood, they also ask for permission to use it for research. They explain as well what they're researching and all those things. It was just brilliant. Those kind of things were really picked up. You know, they check for even things like sickle cell, which we only learned about here. You know,
and we just recently watched again in Super Cell. If you watched the series.
So no one has superpowers here in this family.
But they're so detailed with that. And like, I've been sharing with a lot of people about vitamin D in this country, and taking vitamin D supplements as a Black person and a Black woman, and they gave me vitamin D supplements because of because of us being melanated. You need more vitamin D, etc. And when you come to a country like this,
that has hardly any sun,
you need more of that. So they make sure that even the supplements you take, I also learned that a lot of these pregnancy supplements that we are told to take are not really necessary, and certain things that I really need. Really educated in this pregnancy, to be honest. And I appreciate that. We could go on and on.
Well, let's go to after the pregnancy now. When she's back at home, it didn't end at hospital, all these checkups and all that.
Yeah.
They would send letters. They still do. They still send us letters asking if it's okay for them to come on this particular day just to check up on the baby. And when they're here, they check up on the baby, they weigh the baby, they assess the baby,
Yeah.
the skin, everything, you know.
Check how mommy's doing. Are you breastfeeding well? Is like, are you feeling good? Is he not beating you up?
Yeah.
Are you
supported? They also ask me if I'm not getting beaten up. Yeah. But yeah, those kind of things. It was really, it's really nice to see that, you know. We didn't have that. Like, we didn't have people coming to our house to see if everything's happening well. They're asking about mental health, those kind of things. It was just really nice. It's really nice to experience that. So yeah, that's the difference we saw South Africa and here.
Yeah, very detailed, guys. Yeah. We might just put this Q&A part 1 and part 2 because I think for anyone who comes here, you need to know these details, to be honest. I didn't find this online, you know, I had to live through it. So maybe this will help someone who's thinking of coming here, who wants to know exactly. So yeah, please bear with us and bear with Ayakha as well. So moving right along, got any hospital bag? What was in it? Curious to learn of UK baby brands too. So I don't think we got any hospital given baby or hospital bag items. No.
We got in South Africa though.
Yeah, we did. We did. Are you talking about the discount one? I know there was a discount one.
Yeah.
But you do get a lot of free things here as well. It's just that I didn't really bother much. So please, I'm a horrible example. But you do get a lot of free baby stuff here if you sign up and things.
So
and
you didn't collect them?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think I was like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Usually I love free things, but I don't know what happened this time around. So I can't give an adequate explanation or like review of that. But I know some free things that moms get here in the UK is like free dental care during pregnancy and up to a year after. This is NHS provided. However, though, because of the current NHS issues, I did inquire the other day. I remember telling you this, like for a dentist around our area, because I'm trying to get us all, like getting a family dentist. And I inquired, you know, just for my own dental care. And they told me like the NHS waiting list is 2 years long.
Imagine. So
yes, I have free dental care up to a year after giving birth, but the waiting list is massive, so it's not really like
never encountered a 2-year-long waiting list in South Africa.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, this is public healthcare, so we'd have to get private dental care, really. And then some other free mom things. I can't think of any, but I know that they are there. It's just that I didn't make good use of them. All right. And then someone asked, the child also needs a visa, having been born there. When do you get nationality? So they're asking, does the child need a visa since they were born here? And when do they get nationality? So yes, Ayakha is not a British citizen just because she's born here. It unfortunately doesn't work like that. She is South African.
Of course.
Yes, she is a South African. And she will have to get a South African passport just like the rest of us. Well, I have a Zimbabwean passport, but you know, and yeah, in terms of getting citizenship, she'll get it once we get citizenship as her parents, which at this point, I think we've been here for over a year. I think it takes about 5-6 years. I'm not too sure. I know it's about 5 years for indefinite leave to remain, and then I think 6 years for your British passport. Please do correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just about the process, really. So it doesn't change for her. She will still have to go through the same process like the rest of us. And yeah, that's just about it.
Yeah, but she's South African.
She's South African. She's not British just because she was born on British soil.
She's probably South African.
Yeah. All right. Someone asked, I know NHS has long queues. How is that for pregnant mommies? So we kind of touched on this.
Yeah.
It was the worst on the actual day of delivery. As we explained, there were a lot of mommies. I think the midwives were a bit short-staffed. Beds were full.
How long would you say we waited? The hours? Because we got there
around 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 p.m.
And then the progress only, where we were now in a room getting ready to give birth. That was probably around, was it 10?
Yeah, it was late in the evening, to
10,
be honest.
Almost 11.
I mean, in between, I did get checked, and they just made sure I'm okay. And
still in the waiting room.
Yeah, we're still in the waiting room, and they had advised us before then that because it hadn't been, I guess, exactly 24 hours since my waters had broken, we could go home, but we explained to them home is a bit far away and we're going to be back anyway because my contractions are picking up now. So that's when they now were looking for a bed and the whole thing. But it was quite a long process. But usually if you're going for a point, I mean, I don't think that's how it is every day. So that's our experience based on that day. Because I mean, I don't know how many pregnant women are currently.
No, we wouldn't go every day.
We wouldn't go every day. So, I mean, I'm sure the other UK mummies, the day they went in was prompt, it was swift, because there weren't as many pregnant women giving birth or going into labor at the same time. So please bear that in mind. We just so happened to be going in with a lot of women. I guess we were all busy at the same time 9 months ago. So it's the poor delivery on the day, but generally going for appointments, it was really good, really great, as we've expressed. So yeah, the queue wasn't that bad for pregnant mommies, and it really depends where you are, and yeah, that's just another thing. They said, I know leave is 12 months, ne? Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, it's another perk. So legally, here in the UK, you get 12 months maternity leave. You are allowed to be at home for 12 months. And then doesn't mean that those 12 months are fully paid. I do want to state that very clearly. There is a catch, but yes, you legally can take the full 12 months, even when you go off or when you take your maternity leave at work. They don't expect a presumed date of you coming back. They automatically put you on leave for that year period. So they'll expect you in a year's time when you're legally supposed to be back at work. And that's when you have to then, well, I mean, at my company, because I think this will be the arrangement with most companies, if not every company, you then have to inform them that you want to come back earlier. But I know that you're not supposed to come back within a certain period of time. So you can't like give birth today, come back tomorrow. That is not allowed. That's illegal. You do have to take a stipulated period of time off before you can come back. But legally,
I had students who gave birth today, tomorrow, were they in the exam room?
Yeah, no.
That was remarkable.
That is, I don't know, superpower. That is just very interesting. Yeah. But you legally are given 12 months. Also, you come back to your job as it is. They cannot put you in a lower position or like a higher position. I don't think so, but I don't think that would be a bad thing. Hopefully. But you come back to your job as is. They cannot fire you. Nothing of the sort. They're very strict on that. So your job is safe and intact for the year that you are on maternity leave. And then depending on company to company, some companies can give you 6 months paid maternity leave. Others can give you 3 months paid maternity leave. It depends on your company policy. And then maybe they give you half for the remaining period or whatnot. And then on top of that, you have a government stipend that you get from the government as well, that you get paid for 39 weeks, which is about 9 months that you're getting like an incentive from the government if you are off for like 9 months. But then the last 3 months with most companies and even with the government is unpaid. So yeah, that's how it works. So maternity leave can be up to a year. For some women, they even organize longer. But legally, minimum is a year, and then it depends on you when you want to go back. That's something we're still debating and figuring out. But yeah, it is true. You get maternity leave for up to a year. Hey, next question. Do I need medical aid or the same services provided? So I think we've addressed this.
Yeah.
No medical
don't
aid
need medical aid unless you extremely rich, and I don't know. We don't know what happens in the private hospitals.
Maybe you just need quicker service. Like I mean, with dental, we're gonna have to go private. And like, you know, for those kind of procedures. But for giving birth, honestly, like I even did a little research into it. Is it better somehow if you go for private medical care giving birth? Not really. I mean, even the articles tell you it's not that different. So no, you don't need to. It's really not a need.
No.
And then someone asked, how is it in comparison to South Africa in terms of quality of healthcare practitioners, etc.? I think we may have touched on that as well.
Yeah. Like we said, I think we only have one experience in SA and one experience here as well. But if you're speaking about general hospitals in SA, at least I would have a bit more experience. She wasn't ill during her childhood. I spent a lot of time in hospitals when my child was overdosed. You know? So when I'm comparing, that I don't think, I think it's just the system that they operate it, because we only went to hospital here for pregnancy. So it was just that system that the nurses here are like heavily involved. They run everything, you know. They run everything. The doctor is there for just in case, you know. Yeah, so that was a big difference that I saw. I also have a question, actually. I don't know if it's there in the questions, but with the food, you got this here. You had food in South Africa, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hospital food, of course.
And then the food in the hospital.
Yeah. And keeping in mind that the food here is already not the best of standards. But yeah, I'll leave you to answer.
Sure. Thing is, I don't know. I don't think I was there as long. Okay, let me think about it real quick. Because I was longer here. I was longer in hospital this side versus in South Africa. I think it was 3 days, 4 days.
Less than
4 days. Yeah, so about 3 days. I would say the food was similar. It was on par to even South Africa. I don't think it was like drastically different. Yeah, it was hospital food. Yeah, it wasn't like remarkable. It wasn't horrible. It was okay. It was edible. Yeah, I think it was on par with South Africa. I don't think there was anything where I was like, oh, I remember in SA, or where I thought about SA hospital food or anything like that.
Yeah,
it was decent, I would say.
People always complain about hospital food, so I even cooked the chicken she mentioned earlier. She was complaining.
I can't compare that. I was craving chicken, but I mean, I think, I mean, even in SA, did we not like also okay, you didn't bring me food, but I mean, I wasn't there that long, so
yeah, I guess so, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think there was anything starkly different.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Yeah, and then I think we have one last question. In my head, I feel like white people have low pain tolerance, so somehow they force people to do C-sections. What's the story around that? Bear in mind, that's my assumption.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So people here, I mean, I remember we watched a lot of NHS delivery birth stories. There was like there's a Netflix series, Born Every Minute.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's available in SA, Netflix, but
and also YouTube.
Yeah, and then also YouTube has like giving birth in the UK. People here love or prefer pushing, to be honest, white or black, or if you can push, it's just easier. The recovery is easier. They don't really push C-section unless it's an emergency or you have to, or if it's a preference, but it's not a thing like it is in South Africa, I can tell you that for sure.
C-section.
Yeah, it's not a thing where a lot of people have had a C-section. I mean, the mummies I've come into contact with here that I've spoken to, even a mommy who I was pregnant with at the same time, her first birth was a natural birth. She pushed. Colleagues at work that I spoke with, they've pushed, and if they had a C-section, it was because it was an emergency or there was an issue. It's not necessarily a preference. And even from the shows that we watched about women who give birth here in the UK, they opt for pushing, having a vaginal delivery over a C-section unless they have to. So that's really the norm here. I mean, I think recently now, because of just as time progresses, I guess C-sections have become more than they were. But even the midwives, especially if you watch the shows that I've just recently mentioned, they push for that because it's just easier on the body for recovery. So they encourage natural birth or vaginal birth over a C-section. No one will force you to have a C-section. No one will push a C-section on you unless there's a health risk and it's something that you have to do for your health and safety and the baby's health and safety.
Yeah.
So that's the thing here. So don't worry about, a C-section being forced on you, because I don't know. I think with what I've seen SA tweets with the whole C-sections in SA, it's because doctors make more money from a C-section and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, here the healthcare is it's a different system in terms of healthcare. So that's not a thing over here.
Yeah, and just to toss my 2 cents into this as well, or should I say 2 pence? Yeah. When I'm also observing my own personal observation, really, is that in South Africa, in the past, it seemed like C-sections were always the last resort. I'm thinking. Our parents. Your parents pushed all 4.
Yep.
My mom pushed all 3.
My grandmother pushed all 8.
Exactly.
My other grandmother pushed all 6.
And I would have students as well. I had a student who told me, Mom pushed, how much was it? 18. Close to 20,
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is, it happened in South Africa. I think it's really new because we also had friends and family members who, when they were pregnant, decided that they're going for C-section. They're not going to waste time with pushing. It was something that they scheduled beforehand, So with us, we were always team pushing and watching how I'll be coaching her during the pushing and all the different pushing options like the water birth and all those things.
Yeah.
That's where we were focused. We were watching all those things and we wanted to push, and both times it never happened. Not because the doctors imposed it on us, but because the situations became emergency. So they were both emergency C-sections, so to speak. Yeah. So I hope that gives some further insight on that question.
Yeah, guys. But I think this has been a very detailed Q&A with a few pauses along the way because of little Missy over here. A little spit up here and there. Apologies for that, but thank you so much if you've watched until the end of this video. We really appreciate you. We hope we've been as detailed as possible. Please do let us know if you have any questions down below.
We can do a part 2 of this, absolutely.
Or we can even just answer as much detail as we can in the description or the comment section below. Comment section below. So feel free to ask if you have any more questions. Thank you for tuning in. We're on the road to 1K, by the way, guys.
Very close. Thank you so much.
We're getting close.
We
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to share with others so we can get to that target.
Yes,
and
please.
Also leave your comments there with whatever you want to say to us. We are very interactive. You all know we reply to your comments. And please like the video. And also subscribe yourself if you haven't.
If you're watching us for the first time, please subscribe. We try our best to be as consistent as possible, even now with this one. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.